Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Hey Charles. So today I want to talk about a question that I've been getting a lot lately, and it starts like this. Hey Charles, what can I do in 2024 to create wealth? Well, one of the things that I always say is go into business for yourself. I mean, that's one of the best ways that I've seen, and that's something that I did back in 2008, which I think you all can remember was not necessarily the most ideal time to start a business, and things were crazy, not unlike today where you're seeing a lot of stuff going on, right? High interest rates, the cost of money getting really expensive, the economy, they say it's doing good, but is it really doing good? I'm kind of seeing a lot of signs right now where we're kind of headed into some rough waters, and there's just a lot of things that are going on with people that are tough, inflation, cost of food, people just trying to figure things out. But there's a lot of people that want to take an opportunity to generate wealth. So what are some options? You know what the regular ones are. I mean, obviously you can invest in real estate, right? But again, I said the interest rates are high, so it can be very expensive. But getting back to going into business for yourself, I mean, how do you really get that done? I mean, it's really hard to do. Maybe starting a business from the ground up isn't something that's the easiest. It's not impossible. But here's another idea where I think people are really missing out, and I don't think they're seeing. If you really think about how many small and medium-sized businesses out there that are owned by baby boomers, right, between the ages of 60 and 78 that have profitable businesses, they have no exit strategy, they have no succession plan, they don't actually have a plan at all. And here this business is that generates profit, that generates income. And a lot of these folks, might have their assets, tied up in this business, or some of them may just not even need the business to survive, and they might be doing well enough, but they just can't let it go, right? They built this thing from scratch. They've put in so much effort, all this hard work, the sweat, the time that they put in. They're not going to sit here and just let this thing go. So a lot of them are just biding their time trying to figure it out. Hey, I want to list this. I want to try to sell it. Maybe there's another company that is a competitor or somebody trying to move in. But you know what? I'm telling you right now, things are kind of moving slow out there, right? So here's a great opportunity for someone who's motivated like you to, come into the picture and do some homework and maybe find a business that exists already and working out a deal with one of these people so they can exit and you can enter. And think about this. This business already has gotten past the whole 5-year mark. There's not a lot of startup costs. There's not a lot of capital that needs to be invested at this time. But one of the things that I've really kind of see that people don't really think about is why aren't more people doing this? And I think it's a matter that people just don't think about it. They don't think that this is an opportunity or, why would this person sell me this business if it's so profitable? Well, think about it. They want to retire. They want to enjoy the fruit of their labor. They want to stop having to come in and work. And I've seen this firsthand. I'm just not pulling this out of thin air. I actually know some people right now that are in this predicament. They have an amazing business that produces so much profit. They've done all the things right. They've got a great team of employees. They have a good niche in their market, but it's just one of those businesses that people are just not lining up to buy. And, years ago, I think it really never occurred to them that at one time they're going to want to slow down and they're going to want to enjoy life. So, they've got all this money in the bank. They're worth so much money. They have this business that continues to produce profit and they can't walk away from it. And they're actively working the business. And in a sense, they're in it. They're not working on their business anymore. They're working in their business. And they're pretty much doing all of the heavy lifting and they're getting older. And I guarantee you every time they wake up and look at themselves in the mirror, they're going, why am I doing this? So what are their options if they can't sell it or they don't have a succession plan? What do they just fold up everything and sell it? I guess that's, sell just the assets, not sell the business, but sell the assets and just kind of fold it over. What's going to happen with their niche in the market? What's going to happen to all these employees? So this is the perfect opportunity for someone who's motivated, who wants to do something a little bit better with their life, right? Maybe they're not in that mindset of starting a business, but here's another idea on getting into a business that already exists, already has a reputation, already has a customer base, and already has a service or product that they provide, right? So all of that's been done. But who knows, right? What can you really bring to the table? So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about how you might be able to get this thing done. Okay. So I think the first question that everybody's going to ask me is like, well, how do I buy this thing? I don't necessarily have any money. Well, there's a term called seller financing, right? If you can go and find someone who is in this predicament, you can sit down and have a conversation with this person and talk about, how you're motivated to learn their business, right? And essentially partner with them, go into their business, learn the ins and outs, maybe find some opportunities to grow it for yourself, and then maybe create a program or a plan, right? To be able to buy them out over time. So here's the great part about it. If the business is profitable already, you already have all the equipment that you need, right? You don't have to have a big capital expenditure, money that you're going to have to put into the business because it's already running. Then you already have the vehicle to make this thing happen. So yes, again, I'm just talking about it from a broad perspective, right? This is the idea. This is the big idea in the big picture, and you're going to have to kind of dive down into it. But there's several ways to structure this deal over time. Maybe you come on board as an employee for a period of time, you prove yourself, you learn the ins and outs of the business, and then you're continuing to structure the deal. However that gets done, I'm going to leave that up to you. And that's something we might be able to talk about more in detail in another episode, but there's plenty of ways to do it, right? The key is whether or not you're going to get the gumption, right? I like that word, gumption. It's a little bit different. Okay. Basically means like, are you going to be motivated enough to walk in there and make a pitch? Okay. And create the deal structure. And you might be surprised. They may be so excited that somebody is actually walking into their place of business, and you got some smarts. You've got, that energy. You probably have the same energy that they had while they were building this thing. And you're going to be telling them, hey, I got a way out for you, right? Think about that. I have a way out. You have the ability to now enjoy the fruit of your labor, all this money that you made, all this wealth that you built up. But, what's the alternative if they keep working? They're just going to work until the day they can't work anymore. They don't get to enjoy any of the profit, any of the things that they were able to purchase or build wealth or, enjoy vacations or just like take a break, right? Maybe they don't want to sit there and have to work, the grind of doing the 10, 12-hour shift, every single day and really just be tied to this business. So that's a great opportunity for someone to start looking into this and finding someone that's going to sit down and listen, because it's really not that hard to have a conversation. And yeah, it may not be the right deal for you after you talk to these people. Maybe it's not something that you want to do, but that doesn't mean that you can't go to the next person and make this pitch and this idea, because you'd be surprised how many people I bet would take a meeting in this day and age, especially if they're looking for a way out. You have all the things that you need to put this deal together to basically buy them out, especially if you dive in and make that business even more profitable. You can buy them out sooner and that business can become your own. This methodology of seller financing and what I'm proposing here, you might have heard another term. It's called sweat equity, right? You're getting in there. You're working. Yes, you're getting paid to do what you do, but you've made a deal that you're going to work the business. You're going to learn the business. You're going to get entwined in this business, and you're going to help this business grow with the expectation that you're going to buy this business over time. So that's an idea that you could do if you have no money to put in. Maybe you don't have a lot of credit. That's something that you might want to consider. And believe me, I've seen this done. I had a friend of mine that did this years ago. He went into a business where somebody got into it. It wasn't something they had been in for a long period of time. I think they did it for like 2 or 3 years and they weren't really getting it off the ground. And, this guy invested, pretty heavily. He already got into leases. He bought all the equipment. It was a franchise. He paid the franchise fees. And what he did is he went in and offered a deal for him to be able to come into the business and essentially buy him out, over a period of 3 years. And once he did, he was able to grow this thing to multiple locations, and then he ended up selling it. So this is another example of somebody looking at an opportunity and not willing to take, this barrier, this wall that stands in front of me that, I'm not going to be able to do this, because maybe I don't have the capital, or I can't go borrow the money, or I don't have enough of this or enough of that, whatever that is, he found a way to get it done. And I'm telling you, the opportunities here right now in 2024 for you to start looking around and locating some of these opportunities. So another way to do it, let's say if the sweat equity thing is not your thing and you just want to buy the business outright. I mean, again, maybe you have a lot of capital lying around, but if you don't, there's always an option to get an SBA loan. There's a lot of information. There's great programs for the Small Business Administration, right? They offer loans, right, to small business buyers. It's a little bit less restrictive if you're buying something that already exists, especially if you can show that it's making a profit, that it has an established reputation, it's been in business for a number of years, the credit of the business is good, you're showing good cash flow, good income, good revenue, right? And then also that you have the ability to, continue at least turning a profit. And then most likely, right, what they're going to want to hear and what you should be doing is finding ways to make that bigger, right? And make it more profitable. So, that's another option that you can consider if you want to go that route. I mean, those programs are available. You can do some research online to find which banks offer these types of loans for these types of businesses. Not every single bank is going to be specific to that business or, that type of business structure. So you really need to do your homework. And there's so much information online and there's so many banks out there that do have an SBA program that you can look into. The third way is if you want to go partner with some investors. I mean, there's a lot of times you might find people that have a lot of capital lying around and they don't really know where to deploy it, especially today. Things are a little crazy. And if you come to them and say, hey, I found this profitable business. These people want to exit stage left over a period of time. Here's the market. Here's the opportunity. You may be able to talk with someone and get them to stake you and invest in this business with you. And maybe they're a silent partner. You run the day-to-day and grow the business, right? And grow the profitability. And they're the ones that are funding this venture. So there's a lot of different ways that you can structure this deal. You can have people that are investors that want to be involved in the business. You can get investors that they're just good with loaning the money or investing in that business with that expectation that you're going to be running it and doing the day-to-day and you're going to be growing it, and you can work out the terms of how they're going to get their money back. Those are a few ways of how to make it happen, right? How to buy this business. It doesn't always have to be so black and white. And I would always encourage you never to sit there and think, I can't do this. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You've heard that before. I wholeheartedly believe that. If you want something bad enough, if you believe in it enough, if you believe in yourself, you can make that happen. You just have to find the right opportunity and keep looking. So let's kind of back up a little bit, right? So we talked about where the opportunity lies in 2024. If you want to buy an existing business, right? We talked about the boomers, right? People that are retiring, they don't have an exit plan, they don't have a succession plan. Whenever you begin this journey, if you decide to go this direction, you should identify some goals. You really need to start thinking about what kind of business that you want to be involved in, right? There's a lot of businesses out there that people have created, but some of the things that I always look for are businesses that are essential, and transportation, logistics, right? I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there. I mean, not just like that, but other businesses that are related that are essential, right? Cog in the wheel type of businesses that serve a purpose and serve a niche. So, I mean, you have to do your own homework. You have to understand what your capabilities are and what you can bring to the table, because when you're going into that business owner that wants a way out, they want to hear your pitch. They want to hear your plans. I mean, get yourself dialed in, right? Know your audience, know what the business is about, and maybe talk about what you can do immediately to bring value right away as you're structuring this deal. I mean, it's just like anything else, right? You want to get people excited. You want them to look at you and go, you know what? This is my way out, right? This is the guy or the girl or the person that's going to make this happen for me. And you want to be something that is going to be solid. I think people in general, especially when they get to that age, I'll let you in on a little secret, they might be a little pessimistic. This is way too good to be true. Why does this young person want to come in here and take over this business? Blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, whatever it is. Okay. But you can move past all of that if you come in and just know your stuff. So do your homework up front. Make sure that you know exactly what you want. Don't waste your time or their time if you're just going in there kicking the tires. I mean, I would highly always recommend that you always do your homework and come prepared, right? I mean, it's an obvious statement, but I'm just going to say it because I don't think people really understand how to structure a deal. And, these people need to see that you're serious. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to make a deal on day one, but you want to come in with a specific goal in mind and a reason, why you want to do this venture, and also why they should do this venture with you and make this deal. Because remember, they're essentially going to be your bank. If you take that first option of seller financing, which I think is a great way to go, my opinion, they got to make sure that you're going to be the person that's going to deliver, right? That you're just not all talk and that you have a plan. I mean, inherently, there's always risk. There's always risk in anything you do, especially if you're going into business, if you're doing something like this, but you want to make sure that you get that stuff buttoned up front. So the second part of that, the goal setting, if you have an idea of what you can do or what you want to do and where your idea is, this is going to help you narrow your search because there are a lot of businesses out there. And speaking of that, where do you start to look for one, right? I mean, this isn't something that you just search on the internet. Hey, who's looking to offload their business today, right? That's probably not going to happen. But here's a couple ideas. You can start with a business broker. Yes, there's people out there that for a living will broker businesses, right? They're contacted, by these companies, by these people that want to exit stage left, right? And they say that, hey, I've got this business, I want to sell it. They're talking about what they want for it and how they go through that whole process. And I think what ends up happening is that you just have to think that that's just a place to start, right? You could talk with a business broker, you can interview a few, see what they're listing and, see what's out there. A lot of these people do have websites where once they meet you, maybe they give you access and kind of tell you a little bit about what they have in their portfolio of companies. But you can also talk to different people. I mean, sometimes people are working in the industry, maybe they're in sales or maybe they're a vendor. I've seen it happen that way too. They happen to be working with a business that they inherently know that are looking to exit. They want to sell the business to the right person. So there's other ways to find this, but a business broker is a great place to start. And I think you'll learn a lot, if you have the opportunity to sit down with somebody that has a great reputation in brokering these deals. So I think they can also give you a little bit of insight of who you're going to be dealing with and, what they're all about. Because, I'm a firm believer in knowing your audience and trying to find out as much as you can, before you go into a situation. So, I mean, that would be a good place to start, or ask around. I mean, obviously, you're not going to go be bold and cold call and knock on a door and go, hey, you guys look like you're pretty old and you're tired and, do you have a succession plan? I mean, I don't know, maybe that's a new way of getting it done, but I would say that you can start with a business broker or ask around, right? And see what is available out there so you can take that opportunity to go make your own future. So just to kind of sum everything up, 2024, what would you do to create wealth? Here's an opportunity of something that is going on. It's real. It's not something that is just occasionally going on. There are so many business owners out there right now that are looking for a way out. And it may not be because the businesses aren't doing well. A lot of them are just profitable businesses and they just want to retire. They've done their time, right? They have put all of this time and effort into that. And this is your opportunity to seize this moment in time because I don't think it's going to be there for a very long time. I mean, there's always a scarcity scenario, right? There's only a matter of time where you can really come in and find something that is existing, that's profitable, and have the ability to take over a business and have the seller even finance it, right? Or, we talked about SBA, we talked about getting investors, but I really like that idea of seller financing because if you can make that work, there's tremendous upside for you. Again, this is something that isn't going to be easy. It's probably not going to fall in your lap. So be persistent, make this happen. If this is something you really want to do your homework, do your research, find a business broker, get your ducks in a row, find out what you're going to be good at and what you'll be passionate about. Because whether you're starting a business or whether you're taking one over, you want to have that drive to make it successful. I hope you found this information informative today. And if you did, send it to somebody else. I mean, send it to a friend, send it to another entrepreneur, someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, and subscribe. I appreciate you listening today. Thank you for listening to Hey Charles. You can find us on YouTube at Hey Charles Biz and Hey Charles 77 on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for watching. See you next time.